What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MyMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Killer Heat. This is currently available on Amazon for Prime Video subscribers, and it's an original, and it stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Shailene Woodley, and Richard Madden, and it does have audio description. Yay! And you would think that a film dropping around this time called Killer Heat would be maybe more of a horror movie. This is not. This is sort of just like a pulpy crime drama. Probably the best way to describe this. I got vibes. I got Brick vibes, but it's not. It's not at Brick's level. Felt maybe a little noirish, sort of like Body Heat does, but it's not quite as good as Body Heat. So like it'll give you. It's got vibes, is what it's got. It's got vibes of better films, and that's about really all I can say uh, about it. It is about a detective who is a private eye, I should say, a private investigator, that kind of detective, who is hired to come to the Greek Isles and investigate a mysterious death. And it gets kind of nebulous as to, you know, who could have done this. Did anybody do this? Family doesn't really want him there, and they think his death was ruled a suicide, and it's just a tragedy for all. Or is it? But he was hired by somebody specifically to come in and see if there's maybe anything suspicious. And he's also battling his own demons, which is kind of how the film doesn't really work for me, because and it ties into the ending too. It's like the film suggests that specifically that they were looking for a broken private eye in order to do this, but he has sort of an incoherent flashback riddled plot between him and his ex wife that shows him and her having this tumultuous relationship where it's sort of at its end, but he doesn't really want it to be, and it kind of factors in a little bit into the plot of this thing and mirrors it a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, in a world where we've got, Kenneth Branagh wandering around as Hercule Poirot and trying to figure things out, it kind of felt like Joseph Gordon-Levitt was just, like the least interesting private investigator. It reminded me a lot of feeling about how I felt about Russell Crowe in Sleeping Dogs. I was just kind of like, because that film is also heavily flashback necessary, I should say. And then, like, within the actual confines of being an investigator, I don't know that he's exceptionally great at it. I don't know that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is exceptionally great at being a private investigator here, especially considering we've seen him play this role or adjacent roles to this before. There wasn't really anything about this that stood out to me. The supporting cast, Shailene Woodley is fine. Richard Madden is fine. Nobody really does a bad performance here, but nobody really does anything memorable. This does kind of just feel like a random streaming film that just kind of pops up. Like, well, this didn't quite work. We don't want to waste money on a P&A budget to get it into theaters. So, guess it's streaming, And for Amazon, they do this a little bit less, where they have streaming only releases. And Netflix is like every other week. So it's so hard to ever tell whenever they have anything quality-wise that wasn't bought out of a festival. So for this, I guess the Danger Will Robinson part of it is, well, it didn't go to theatrical. And that occasionally is not a good enough reason to not watch a film, because like I said, like with Netflix, every once in a while you find a film and you're like, wow, this really works. Why didn't this go to theaters? You know, like in Amazon, they had last year, I believe, the John Cho film, Don't Make Me Go. I thought that was really good. So every once in a while they have something that works. Um, Sadly, this is not it. I wanted it to be, because I was sitting here thinking, wow, this is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's second streaming film of the year. Is he gonna start going to streaming now? Is this his future? Because he had the streaming series for Apple Plus, and then he was a Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F, and now he's in this. It's not looking good. Richard Madden, I thought, was supposed to be, storming the theaters. That hasn't really happened. And Shailene Woodley, the future of tomorrow, hasn't really happened. So, yeah, maybe this is where it is supposed to be. But it's just kind of, I'm not over or underwhelmed. I'm whelmed. Like, I came in expecting nothing, and my expectations were never really fully lowered or raised. I came in and felt like I just got air, just like, welcome, and here's your air, sir. Well, thank you. I watched a movie. It wasn't terrible. I thought it was better than Sleeping Dogs. And it has a better cast overall. It's just shot better than Sleeping Dogs. And it had audio description, which I thought was a plus. It actually has like locations where they have to go to Greece. But it's not really a satisfying adventure. I don't think too many people are gonna be thinking this is like the greatest undiscovered gem of the year. There are a lot of indie films that have just kind of fallen flat, just because their distributors haven't really been able to get them out there, that I would encourage people watch over this. Movies like Ghostlight and Treasure and Ezra, those films have definitely are definitely worth watching. This is just kind of like, I don't know, watch Firebrand instead. Watch Touch. I mean, there are so many like little indie films that have barely registered and got theatrical releases. This is just there for people who really, really love crime movies. I mean, and they're like a completionist, and they're like, I'm gonna watch every single crime movie ever made. I thought, audio description wise, I mean, it has to deal with the flashbacks, so it does a pretty good job of that. Tonality, I thought the narrator choice was nice. Description wise, we're in Greece. I mean, like, that's really maybe my only note would be, but it doesn't really, the series itself doesn't really even seem to take full advantage of the fact that it's in Greece, the movie. So I don't know, they are in Greece. It's one of those things where it's like, if we were watching this film, we'd look at it and be like, wow, that's pretty. But it seems like it's such a little known backdrop for the movie, in terms of this could be anywhere, really, at the end of the day. It's not like the show has anything to do with Greece specifically. So yeah, it could be anywhere. And there's opulence to it, because we're dealing with a wealthy family. We could go more into that. I'm not going to say we don't, because they do have a yacht. So we do describe the yacht and stuff. So, I mean, there are moments of everything. Everything is fine. I'm not blown away by the track, but I thought it did a good job. So, yeah, pretty much everything with this film is just like, yeah, all right. So I'm going to give Killer Heat, I'm going to give it a C. I mean, it is very average. It's not below average. It's not above average. It is average. Is probably the most average thing I've seen this year. I look at Killer Heat and I'll be like, that's the middle for the year. So how many films did I have above it and how many films did I have below it? I think this is the middle of the year for me. I think this is the definition of the most average thing that I got to see this year. Right down the middle. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's anything. I think it is just right down the middle. Deadly average. Just very, it exists. So, well, there you go. I don't know how much more to say that, but I feel like anybody who watches this film is going to be like, yeah, well, he was right. It exists. Kudos. Let me know what you think in the comments if you did actually see this and did actually like it. I'd be curious to know. But that's it for me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.